Hi everyone, and welcome to another Tribe Forex Power Hour. I'm Marcello, and with me is Nino, a pro Forex trader. We're going to do today what we've done for years, which is an analysis of the markets and evaluation of our strategies, which are based upon the 5 p.m. Eastern Time close of our daily bars and our 4-hour bars. Thereafter, we're going to do an assessment of our own trades if we've had any, or of our own calls if we've had any as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Nino, thanks for being with me today. How are you, by the way?
I'm great. How are you, Marcello?
Great. I bet you're ready for tonight. Guys, if you have the opportunity, you've got to get into the trade room with Nino. He does an amazing job. And, although we have set and forget it trades, we also have day trades. And if you want to know how to day trade, you can get with Nino inside of the live trade room at 1 to 3 a.m. Eastern Time for the London session, and then again in the New York session from 8 to 10 a.m. So let's talk about our process and our formula for success here. So as I said before, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we do a market analysis to determine what we call our bias. What is our bias? Our bias is the probability of price going, of a particular currency pair going up, or the probability of price going down. So if we believe the price will go up based upon what we believe to be a higher probability for a buy scenario, we will call that a buy bias, and vice versa for a sell bias. We also have what we call a consolidation bias, where we're looking for price to reach certain points in the market, and which it will range in those areas, and so that will be called a consolidation bias. Now, there are two ways that we execute our biases. One, we take a set and forget it trade, which means that we set our trade in the evening. We determine our entry, our stop loss, our take profit, and we don't look at it again until the next day. Now, the other way is what I alluded to here, is day trading in the direction of our bias using our pods. If you don't know what a pod is, go to www.tribeforex.com, and you will see in the upper menu a choice for a day trading course. Okay, it is completely free. You can go ahead and look through it, and you can see real-life application of those principles and those strategies with Nino in the live trade room that he conducts on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 to 3 a.m. Eastern Time, and again, 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so that is that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts, see where we are and what opportunities we may have. So I'm going to start with the euro dollar here. What you're going to notice is that this bar looks like it's bouncing off of the mid-Bollinger Band. We had a reversal candle, doji, that formed here, and really didn't go anywhere. Nothing's happened with it just yet, okay? But we do see that the market does seem to have a tendency where it is to follow this particular flag formation, and it has a hesitance to continue to move down, okay? So if you look at here from the swing high, from this swing high to this swing high, you will notice that we do have a trend line. You will also notice that our reversal candle, our hammer or doji here, fell and closed within that trend line. Now we are in a weekly bar that seems to want to buck at that and really retest it, and it has given it its best shot at retesting. However, it has done absolutely nothing during that time. It has not moved further on. And so it's kind of, we've had a more or less a consolidation pattern that we've seen here in the euro dollar. So what we're going to be looking for going forward is we're going to be looking for a rejection of price at the higher area and then a move downward. We're going to look out for a sell-off on the euro dollar, and I'm going to show you basically some evidence for that. Okay, so here's what we have. We've got a nice trend line that's formed, the resistance trend line that's formed above, and as you can see, 1-2 touches for our swing high, and now we've had a confirmation on this day at 38.72. Price went up and really tested it going to 38.78, and then came down and really closed it in what looks like a doji type of pattern. We could see price go back up to 138.68, maybe a retest, but inevitably I think price wants to come down to this area, and I say that because of the bigger picture. And the bigger picture shows us, although we've had a long-term uptrend, we do see a much bigger picture of a pennant formation. Okay, so we've had a pennant formation forming here, a flag formation really showing a consolidation in price. And so it's time based upon this consolidation, which has lasted since 2008, that's 6 years of this consolidation formation, really showing that price really wants to move back down and potentially get down to the lowest area would be 126, and at the very least wanting to get down to 135.50, 13400, or getting down to 127. If we see price get down to 127 from here, guys, that would be quite a drop. But it is not to be unexpected in this type of a market, and with the euro dollar and really the Forex. Everything's possible with the Forex. So breakouts happen 10% of the time. So we're going to be looking for price to sell off, to come back in, to not break out, not just yet. And we're going to look for it to come back in here, and that will give us more opportunities as time goes on to profit here. So keep that in mind. V1, I'm looking at maybe a retest of 138.68 and then a sell down to 138.00, okay, and beyond, okay, maybe down to the 50 EMA at 137.86. So that's it for the euro dollar. Now I've got a confirmatory, if you will, action here by the dollar Swiss. Now the dollar Swiss basically had a nice sell, or support trend line here formed. 1, 2, 3, became really within pips of hitting this 87.65 area, okay, really getting to 87.69. So within 4 pips of this trend line on the low. That is not by accident. That happened is what I believe by design. And what you'll see is that we could see price come down to 0.8767, but it really confirms that we really believe that price is going to move up. We're more likely to see it go up to 88.77 or even beyond, maybe breaking out of this apex to 88 to 8900 on the dollar Swiss. So that does confirm what we're saying here, really coming close to and bouncing off of that support trend line at the bottom of the dollar Swiss. There's a negative correlation, an inverse correlation between the dollar Swiss and the euro dollar. So when we see that the dollar Swiss looks like it's going to go up, and we see that the euro dollar really shows signs of going down, those really combine and really confirm each other and give us what we may need to validate a particular trade. So consider that. All right, so I've got a buy bias on the dollar Swiss, a sell bias on the euro dollar. Now let's talk about the pound dollar. Now the pound dollar repeatedly has come to this very same area, 168.50, and you can see that it bounced right off this 168.50 area yet again. So we've had multiple touches here, multiple tests of this 168.50 area, and this 168.50 area has really stood for quite some time, just a long time in the markets here. So if you look back in 2008, okay, once again, October of 2008 is when this this area of support was broken by price, and when it came back up in August of 2009, it really tested that area, and that was the beginning of this area of support and resistance being relevant for our time. So this is a flag formation that's really forming here, an ascending triangle, ascending flag, if you will, and what we're looking for is this area to really hold at 168.50 and potentially for a drop here, which would be unexpected to those who are not looking at this monthly. Now, if we saw that breakout happen, and if it decided to happen at this particular moment, we could see price break above this area, and then we'd have to wait and watch 1.6850 become an area of support for us again. We have not seen that. So I'm really looking for a drop here. I'm looking for the pound dollar to come back down and find its way right back down to these areas of support and resistance at 15200, 1.5200, or in that area. Now that would be a beautiful drop for the pound dollar. So if you got in on those and held those trades, you wouldn't have to do very much of anything, and there'd be a great opportunity for you. All right, so that is what's going on here on the pound dollar. I'm looking for a sell on it. So if I go down to the lower time frame, you can see here that we have a doji. So we've had repeated movements here up and down because we are in consolidation here. But I think that's coming to an end really quickly. We may have a retest of 168.50, and then I'm looking for a drop down, certainly down to this consolidation area. And so, yeah, we have had an uptrend, but it's time for, according to this, what I'm seeing, potentially a reversal on this uptrend and really pulling back down here on the pound dollar. So look out for that, guys. And, you know, look for that to really transpire. The dollar yen here. Okay, guys, so we've had a back and forth in the dollar yen. I really called it here at the top quite nicely, where we did have that sell-off in the dollar yen. 104.11 was beautiful. Reversal candle followed by price getting up there to 104.11, and then beautiful just drop straight down. I wish every day could be like that. But really what we have here is a potential, looking at this dollar yen, I do think that we do have a potential for this is actually in consolidation. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars in consolidation. You know, we could see price break through this Bollinger mid-band. We actually had to close above the 50 MA. I'm not going to call this. This is not going to be one of my stronger calls. Let me come back to this dollar yen actually. That's probably the best idea for me here. So looking at the weekly chart on the pound yen, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on this area of support and resistance, which is our resistance trend line. If I go down to the daily, what you're going to notice is that price really did attempt to get back up to 172.74, getting to 172.55. We could see price retest and get up to 172.74 from where it was, which is not really that far away. It's about 47 pips. And then we can look for price to really come down here. All right, so we're going to look for that. We're in the apex, though. We're going to look for a breakout very, very soon, most likely on this pound yen. And let me tell you why I think that eventually or inevitably we should see a sell on the pound yen here. If you go to the monthly chart, you'll notice that we do have a trend going, and there is the beginning of a flag here. So if you look, there's the zero Fibonacci area, okay, so the very bottom of price action there. And there's also a trend line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars on the monthly chart that have hit this lower trend line that we've drawn here. And what that means to us is that most likely that we're going to see price really bounce off of this. We already have a railroad tracks formation here right off the 38.2 of the initial drop. And we're going to look for price, although price has pushed up here quite a bit. It really hasn't moved in the last month. We're going to look for price to really come down. Now, if price does do as we expect it to, we could have a drop from where we are, okay, 172, all the way down to about 130 or 140, okay? And that's a tremendous amount of profitability. We're at the very peak of this, so it's a very good opportunity for you to get in, although it may look like a buy for some people, for an untrained eye, and even for a trained eye. I think there's tremendous possibilities for a sell here on this pound yen. Of course, we could have a breakout and price can continue to move up, and that can happen as well, but I think the opportunities are certainly for a sell here on this pound yen. I'm going to go straight to the euro yen because the euro yen is in a very similar position here. If we go to the monthly, look at this. We had the same thing. We had a drop, price comes down. You can see that we have a trend line drawn at the lower side. We have a railroad tracks formation that looks very strong here. We're already forming what looks like a doji formation here on the euro yen. And we're looking for price to make a continuation of this flag that looks like it's forming. So we'd have the early, this is the early goings of a flag formation. And this really just gives us tremendous opportunities. If we get in at 140, we're able to take it all the way back down, back into this vicinity if the market is willing to give it to us. So we're actually at an ideal place in the market, believe it or not. If the market does do that, there's tremendous profitability from where we are if we're able to catch on to this, and it really does move down in the direction we want it to. That's just great risk-reward ratio. We want to take advantage of that. And so that's the euro yen. So what am I saying? From a weekly standpoint or a monthly standpoint, long term, we're looking for a sell here. I think there's still one more trip to the upside, potentially on 142.83, and then it can definitely come down. I also think, which is why I'm not going to call a euro yen trade today, that we are still in consolidation. If you look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bars that are within the highs and lows of each other. Okay, that's a lot of consolidation. Although this bar did come down and hit our, first of all, our Bollinger mid-band, it also hit our lower trend line for support. which is a beautiful opportunity if you got that. I didn't jump in on this one myself, but if there was a beautiful opportunity there, then man, you know, even though it went all the way up here, it did not close above this area of consolidation. So more likely than not, we could see just price come back down just to surprise a few people, take some people out, maybe reapproach this 141.20 area in the euro yen on the 50 EMA or down to the support area trend line. Okay. All right. So the New Zealand dollar. New Zealand's been interesting. New Zealand went up and really had a nice tumultuous drop right back into the channel. So I need to take a look at the monthly here. And look at this monthly. It's actually beautiful to look at because we did form a trend line here on the monthly. 1, 88.40, 2, again at 86.75, really forming the beginnings of our trend line here. It looked like price was going to break out, formed a new high, reversal high, and then look what it's doing. It's closing right within that monthly, right inside that pennant all over again, which is just, it's just beautiful symmetry, if you will, in the market. There is a design to what happens here in this market. It's just beautiful. So it just makes sense. So if the market does close, we've got just a couple days left in the month here. Okay, 2 more days, Wednesday. The market does close here. More likely than not, we're going to see a nice tumultuous fall on the New Zealand dollar from where it is at 85.38, potentially down to the 79.50 area, which is also another great drop. So right now, guys, we have great possibilities on all of these pairs long term. Okay, so let's take a look again. We've got 2 days left. All right, we may see the New Zealand, looking at this weekly, you know, just where it is, it's coming right back into this channel. I'm going to be looking for it to retest at 85.66 potentially, because it's really just hanging out on the 50 EMA. So I'm going to look for it to bounce up, maybe retest 85.66, and then I'm going to look for it to drop below this 50 EMA. Okay, and I'm expecting it to close within this trend line here on the New Zealand. Not as clear as we'd like it to be, but I think that if we get that rejection of price above the trend line, that we're set as far as that's concerned. We may get a retest after that next month in the next few days at this 85.50 area, 85.60, and then we're going to see price really just move down on this New Zealand dollar, which is but something I'm looking forward to. I think there's tremendous opportunities to make a lot of profit if price does go in ways that we're talking about, because there's the reward to risk ratio is so great here. It's just a great opportunity if you can get into it early. So we're seeing the market really push price up a tremendous degree to keep people wary of where price is going from here. And then we're going to see something drop, most likely. All right, so Aussie dollar, you know, in general, Aussie dollar has been an awesome pair for me. I love the Aussie. So I'm looking at the monthly right now, and you can see what I'm seeing here. We had a bounce off the 50 EMA. We had basically prices just hanging out at the Bollinger Midband, and it's reversal candle. Okay, you see that beautiful reversal candle there. Beautiful reversal candle right on the Bollinger Midband, right below it. I'm expecting price to close somewhere in that vicinity. So if you look at the weekly, we had kind of what we call a triple threat formation here. Price moves up, closes within the smaller formation, and then price breaks down. I'm looking for price to continue in this way. We may have a hesitation the next couple of days because the job is already done. The doji is already formed. The reversal candle is already formed on the weekly. So it doesn't really have to move very much from here if it doesn't want to. We have 1, 2, 3 bars that are within each other more or less on this Aussie dollar. I'm not going to call the Aussie because I think that we could see price go back up, which would be in action with the consolidation. If we do see that kind of action come back up in this consolidation, like what we're looking at right now, if we see that price comes back up here to about the 93.20 area, or anywhere in that vicinity, 9300. Be looking out for a potential sell thereafter. And I'm going to look for price to sell off at that point on the Aussie dollar. So let's take a look at areas of support and resistance really quickly, because that's what I'm talking about. It's my last pair. Why not? So this is what we're looking at here, and there's actually great areas of support and resistance right here for us to look at. All right. All right, so there is something there. We're sitting on the 200 EMA. Price could go up, but it's more likely than not going to continue downward here on this Aussie dollar. And this upper support area is, or resistance area is going to most likely, it's quite steep, and so are the other areas of support resistance. I think long term, as I said before, I think this reversal candle can hold. Looking at the monthly here on the Aussie dollar, we can see price really get back down to 88.50 again, and then we can see where price goes from there. And I think that's it, guys. So once again, euro dollar, we have what looks like a sell. Is the greatest probability. Dollar Swiss is a buy. Pound dollar is a sell. Dollar yen is in consolidation, and I did not call it, and I'm not going to call it today. The pound yen, looking at it, it's going to be a sell, or the probability is that we have a sell bias. 172.71 price could go up there and then look to really move down strongly on the pound yen. Dollar CAD, it's in consolidation. I didn't even bring it up, but it's in consolidation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bars that are within each other, truly consolidation here, bouncing off of this 50 EMA. We could see a bounce to the upside, just a few pips, not a, looks like it wants to go up from the dollar CAD from where it is currently. And, inevitably, I think I have a buy bias on the dollar CAD, so keep that in consideration. If you're just stuck on trading the dollar CAD, it's going to be more likely than not a buy for where it is. Euro yen, it's in consolidation, so I'm not actually calling that one either. So it could either go back up to this area of 142.81, or it could sell off and come right back down to the 50 MA. And I think that it's shown that if there's consolidation here, so it could very well do that. Okay, and so that's what I think about the euro yen. And as I said about the New Zealand, I think inevitably it's going to be a sell. 85.66 can go back up there and test that and really come down. And the Aussie dollar, I think, is going to be inevitably a sell as well. Now look, actually the Aussie dollar, if you look at it, it's got 3 bars. And the reason why I'm not calling it really is because it could bounce up this 200, come back up to the top, and then, then make its way down. And for that reason, where it's standing, I have to call a consolidation bias on this Aussie dollar, actually. So I'm going to look for a buy to move back up here into this area, and then I'm going to look for a sell, I think, eventually on the Aussie dollar. If it doesn't take place today, it's going to take place most likely tomorrow. So that's how I feel. That's where we are. That's what I see in the market, I should say, not how I feel. And so, guys, happy trading. I look forward to seeing you in the next session of the Tribe Forex Power Hour. All the best.